Welcome back to part two of this transformational journey of men. I'm your host and guide, Lance Howard. I'd be honored for you to subscribe on my YouTube page as I try to unpack various meaningful and helpful topics that guide you on the journey to live with your whole heart. John 10:10 states that I have come to give you life, and to give you life to the full. But yet there is one who comes to steal, kill, and destroy. My aim and desire and purpose is to help you step in each day a little more fully into that abundant life that Jesus promises both now and forevermore. But we got to be mindful. We got to be mindful of those spaces and those times that the thief is knocking to steal, kill, and destroy. He's looking for someone to devour. And I pray that this content is encouraging for you as a leader in the workplace, as a leader at home with your wife and your children as well. Once again, if you find it helpful, please share it with somebody, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you on the journey. I'm going to share one helpful question for you today. But before, you can go back and watch part one of what I have on the board behind me. Part one, I give you just the overview of what's going on here with the transformational journey of men. So I want to unpack just a little bit more of this and not to rush it. If you want to just see the full scope of it, go back to part one that I recorded earlier. So, on this journey, I believe that most men, somewhere around the age of 35, are destined to begin to wake up to all of life's possibilities. However, most men choose a different path. Many men choose this path that is very much achievement driven, and it keeps building the ladder. You realize that the ladder's on the wrong wall, and at some point you realize that the ladder doesn't exist. But many men at 35 hit this moment in life that the thief has come to steal, kill, and destroy. So I want to take you back on why most men will choose to continue to build and achieve without realizing this opportunity to wake up to all that Jesus has promised us. So, in this phase of life, we have initiation or a rite of passage. An initiation and a rite of passage is this event that mostly happens somewhere in the early teen formative years, 10 to 16. It could begin to happen as early as 7 and 8. But for the sake of example, this initiation and this rite of passage is largely absent from our culture. It's largely absent from most homes. Primarily two reasons. One, we have physically absent fathers to guide this season of life. Or two, we have emotionally absent fathers to guide this season of life. And so when we have absent fathers, whether it's from divorce, whether it's from them leaving and separation, that's the physical absence of a father. The second one is the emotional absence, because a lot of times the emotionally absent father did not go through this season very well. And they reach this season of life, but they're continuing to build a bigger barn. They're continuing to achieve their dreams, hopes, and aspirations that end up leaving them emotionally absent from their home and their leadership with their children. And so in this stage, when you don't have a guide or someone on the journey to help you into manhood and help you into this masculine journey of the soul, into this spiritual realm of allowing Jesus to be completely full in your life. When this is absent, what happens is we go searching for it. And so what continues on this journey when the initiation of the rite of passage is absent from a man's life or a young boy's life is that they turn to addictions, they turn to more screen time, they turn to basically loneliness and emptiness and isolation. So this stage here, they never hear beloved. This stage here, they never hear beloved. Meaning that if we go to when Jesus not only was born, but more specifically when Jesus was baptized, his Father, God, spoke over that moment in time and said, "My son, I am well pleased with you. You are my beloved." And that journey had been going on since his birth, all the way up until his baptism by John the Baptist. But what's happening is that we don't hear it here, much less we never hear it here. And so when you don't hear that you're beloved, you're going to go seeking for love. And all those things are leaving us empty. And so, not to continue on too much longer for the sake of unpacking this, the journey from beloved into what some would call a cowboy stage. This cowboy stage lasts much longer than what it needs to happen. So instead of this cowboy stage happening, say, from 16 to 22, this cowboy, this renegade stage will happen oftentimes from 16 all the way throughout life, because we have never received the sonship, the guidance of someone, some male figure in our life trying to lead us on a more meaningful spiritual journey. Now, there's plenty of men out there that will show you what achievement looks like in business and sports and those arenas of life, and those arenas are not inherently wrong, but when they become the end goal of our life, we miss out on that being fully alive. So instead of hearing beloved, this cowboy, this renegade, happens much longer than it needs to happen. And you hit this wall over and over and over. All because, primarily, that you did not have a guide, a sage, a wise teacher, a friend, a father, to lead you on a spiritual, meaningful journey. We can talk later about what are those practices, but for now, the question that I want to bring you back to is, what am I responding to today that impacts my story when I was in this initiation and rite of passage? What am I responding to today that I'm responding out of a cowboy or a renegade posture? You see, our stories from decades ago impact the way we respond today. So if you can go back and begin to unpack these stories, you can begin to make sense of how to transition into a meaningful and this abundant, wholehearted life. There will come a time in all of our lives where we have this kairos moment, this moment in time that I've spoke about. This moment in time where we have a choice, where you get to choose, are you going to become the wise teacher that continues to grow into life, or will you become an old, bitter man? Unfortunately, we have a lot of old, bitter men. We may look young, but we have a lot of old, bitter men that are raising sons and raising daughters. So may this brief video be helpful to you to understand, what am I doing today that I'm responding out of that cowboy and that renegade posture? And how can I redeem, renew, and restore that to move into the abundant, fully alive posture that Jesus promises us today? Peace and courage to you on your journey. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video.